there are so many cameras out right now and they're all amazing. But I have to say that out of all the cameras that I have used, I really prefer Canon EOS R. This camera right here is really one of my favorite cameras. I have bought this camera 3 times now. 3 times. I bought it the first time when it first came out, and I think it was like $2,000 with tax and everything. And it just came with the adapter for EF mount, but no lenses. That's just the camera body. At first, I thought it was good. I liked it, but then, you know, it doesn't have slow motion, only in 720. And then when it first came out, it didn't even have 24 frames per second, only 30 frames per second. And then I sold it for, I think it was the Sony a7 III. And with that camera, you guys know that it has slow motion, it takes 24 megapixels, and it does it all. Autofocus is amazing. Everything was just so good with that camera. But then I sold that camera and went back to this. The biggest reason was there was no flip out screen. So a lot of the time I had to guess what I was shooting, and I kept on missing sometimes, and I would make the whole video only to realize that I wasn't in focus at all. And that's when I realized I need a flip out screen. It is a must. Not gonna go on without it anymore. Now that's the second time, remember that. And then I sold it again, which is crazy because I am selling and reselling and I'm losing value, okay? So the second time I bought it for $1,700, and then I sold it for X-T4. Other cameras were in the middle of that, but let's just jump to the main one. The Fujifilm X-T4 was my next one, and I love that camera. It is such a great camera. It was amazing in photography and video. It was great. Everything about that camera is just perfect. Even the color profile was so good that I just couldn't stop. That camera is just so good. Well, one thing changed it all: full frame. A lot of you guys might say full frame doesn't really matter that much. There's a lot of people who shoot with an APS-C and it comes out amazing. So full frame doesn't really matter. Well, one thing it matters is that I love bokeh when I'm shooting photography, and just having that option of going even more, I want it. I want it, and knowing the fact that it's full frame makes me just feel better inside. And then we have to talk about Canon lenses. But there's a lot of full frame camera. So I bought this again. I bought this in 2020, and now, believe it or not, because the R5 and R6 came out, this camera is $1,200. I think I bought it for even less than that. And the condition is mint. Like, there's nothing wrong with this camera. I love it. I love everything about it. The flip out screen, like I was talking about, recording myself with the flip out screen is amazing. The photography on this camera is amazing already. I mean, 30 megapixels, you got Canon colors, autofocus is out of this world, you got eye autofocus, and the motion of going from one autofocus to another, smooth. There's no jumpiness, it's just smooth. And I like that. I love how sturdy this camera is. It feels sturdy, so if I dropped it, I'm not gonna drop it, but if I did, it feels like it will last. It was not gonna die out, and I won't have a big problem with it. Even though I do not want to drop this camera to test it, I just know that it just feels nice. In the hand, it just feels like I have a good grip on it. This grip part right here, I love it. Like, it feels nice. It feels like a real camera, DSLR. So if you guys are a Canon user and you just want to jump to mirrorless, this is a great option. I know they have the RP as well, but the R is such an amazing option. It has all the same features as like your already DSLRs. You have all the buttons in pretty much the same places. The menus there, all the menus are so similar that if you came from Canon, you know where everything is. And I love that. I love Canon and I love everything about it. I try to jump to so many different camera brands. And if you guys follow this channel since the beginning, you know that this is a fact. I came from Canon. I started with Nikon, I went to Canon, and then Sony, and then Fuji, and then Panasonic, and then back to Canon, Sony, Fuji, Panasonic, Canon. You know, I'm just going over and over and over, and then now I have Canon. I will have to say, I think I'm gonna stick with Canon from here on out. And some of you guys might not believe me because of how many times I switch cameras. I'm just going to invest into RF lenses and keep this body until I get the RF lenses I want, and then I'm gonna upgrade to the R5 for my main camera, and this can be like my secondary camera. But with this camera being my body right now, and then just invest into RF lenses, I have a long way to go. I only have 3 RF lenses, and they're pretty cheap. I got this 50 for $200. I got the 85 for $500, and then the 24 to 105 L lens, which is the only L version I have, and I got that with the camera for $800. All those camera lenses are cheap. It's cheap compared to the RF L lenses of the 50mm, of the 85mm. Those are like $2,200 minimum, and then it goes up from there, from the 70, 200, 15 to 35. We're talking about some expensive lenses, and I really can't wait to invest into those and use it for all my work and all my videos, because it comes out so sharp and so nice. I want them right now. My biggest thing that I want to talk to you guys about is 2021. Should you still buy this camera? Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you guys right now, yes, you should. So if that's all you needed to know, you can stop watching the video here. But if you guys want to know all the cool features and stuff, then continue watching. The reason why I still recommend this camera over the other cameras this year in 2021, while there's so many amazing cameras out there, is because the Canon EOS R is still an amazing camera for its price right now. Right now, if you were to buy a used Canon EOS R, you can get it from $1,000 to $1,200 for this amazing 30 megapixel Canon colors, Canon autofocus, dual pixel autofocus, great RF lenses, and you can also get it with an EF mount that you can use all your EF lenses with it. It has a flip out screen too. Some of you guys might not like the flip out screen because all you do is just shoot pictures and no need to point this thing out. But let me tell you, the biggest thing I like about having a flip out screen is that sometimes I want to shoot portraits on myself, or I want to shoot the full body portraits on myself, and I don't have anybody else to shoot me, right? So I don't have Jeanette there all the time. She's busy working or doing her own thing, and I just don't want to wait for her to be free to shoot portraits of me. With the monitor out, I can totally see myself in frame, and then with the app, I'll just snap the shot. The app lags a little bit, so sometimes it just lags. With this, I can just see it in real time. And since I'm not close enough to press the screen, I just use it as a monitor to look at myself, and the shutter would be my phone. Or if I were to buy a shutter button, that could work too. The fact that it's a touchscreen, I love it. And it's an amazing touchscreen. Out of all the touchscreen on cameras that I have used, Canon has the best one. The best one. So with the Canon EOS R, it still is the best, and I love it. I love the fact that you can touch it and it works so well. And this touchpad right here, if you guys haven't seen the video, I have made one right here. This video right here will show you guys how I use that touchpad and how you guys can use the touchpad and make it work for you. I set that thing to Kelvin and it works so great. I've been using that all the time. Like, I don't set my white balance on auto or even select any of those menus. I can change the white balance so fast now. I just leave it on Kelvin and I just slide this back and forth to change the white balance. And it works so good. I love that touchpad, and I'm gonna miss it when I upgrade to the R5 because it went back to the joystick. If I use this external monitor, the Ninja 5, onto my EOS R, I can shoot in 10-bit ProRes, and the files are insanely large. But then since I have the SSD, I work right off this. I just transfer everything to DaVinci Resolve, and then I would just work right off that thing, and now I have really good 10-bit video files, because internally this thing only does 8-bit, which is still really good. And then plus it's super sharp, you guys. This thing is amazing. So if you guys are looking for this camera in 2021, I think you guys should definitely do it. Find a used one though, because a new Canon EOS R is a little bit more pricier than I would want to recommend somebody. So a used one is definitely worth it. Everything about this camera is still such a great camera. If you have this camera ready and you're thinking of upgrading to the R5, I honestly think you should wait unless you already have the RF lenses and you have nothing else to upgrade to and you want to just upgrade the body. You should do that. But if anything, I'd upgrade the RF lenses first and then the body, because this camera is just so good already. All right, if you guys have any questions, please leave in a comment below. If you guys have any comments, leave them down below as well. We'll chat some more there because I really like to hear your thoughts on it. All right, my name is Andy. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.